From Toronto, Canada, here's the Getting Real with Phina show. Host, Phina.
Mental health is a global issue and a continuous discussion. Good enough, more people have started opening up about their mental health. There's a better understanding. And today on your show, we are going to be discussing mental health. And I have the best guest to help talk about this talk. Welcome to your show, Getting Real with Phina. I have my beautiful, gorgeous friends, Ellie and Simone. Thank you, guys. I knew to do this topic, mental health, I had to get the best of the best. And I'm so honored to have you guys in the studio with me. Thank you so much. Thank you again and again. And let's just quickly go straight to the business of today. Mental health. Mental health has been a global issue right now. But thank God, people have started coming up. People now talk about it. People are no longer ashamed, unlike in the past, especially we people of color. The shame, the stigma is no more there. Everybody is talking about it because almost everybody is going through it. So let's quickly talk about it. Let's start with Ellie.
Okay, thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
For me personally, I have also suffered from mental health. So it's not just something that is mental health issues. We all want mental health, but there are many challenges towards our mental health. And I think that we don't have enough dialogue around it in order to interact with it in a very real way. So for me personally, I suffer from something called complex PTSD. And you've heard of PTSD when they talk about soldiers who have come back from war and they're having these experiences of reliving their trauma. When you put complex PTSD with that, it's because you're having multiple traumas, one after the other. And so since the age of 5, for pretty much 45 years of my life, I have suffered from varying traumas from time to time, which deeply impacts my ability to trust, to be able to anticipate threats. I relive moments when I'm speaking to people as if it's something else that happened to me. So they might see my anger and they may not know where it's coming from. And it can get misdiagnosed a lot as well. So what it has taught me is that because there isn't a lot of support or empathy in our community for people who, like me, who suffer, you end up being quite isolated, which can exacerbate the issue a lot more if you don't have an outlet that you can put it towards. So mental health or mental illness, so to speak, is something that I once told a friend that if you're Black and you don't have a therapist, then something may not be gelling for you in your life. Because we're all traumatized by virtue of colonialism and oppression. So there are some levels of mental health issues with all of us in the ways in which we interact with one another in the world around us. So that has been my interaction with mental health is that I'm like having an experience. I'm trying to communicate that experience. There isn't a community that can support that experience, and so I've suffered from alienation and isolation quite a bit as a result of my mental health issues. Luckily, I'm in a lot of therapy, which allows me to function in my isolation and still be able to have a creative outlet. And I've had to lose a lot of people in my life, mostly because some people are just great, but sometimes they trigger me or I'm not able to understand what's happening to me. So I've had to almost self-isolate as well to get a hold of the triggers and the understanding the traumas and then step back out and see if it's working and then go back in and reassess and move forward from there.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, Simone?
Okay, so Phina, again, I'm gonna start by saying thank you. This is I know we talked about doing this the last time that I was on, and I'm glad that I'm back on. And it's interesting that you brought me on with this young lady, because this young lady and I have a lot of history, especially when it comes to the topic of mental health. We have, and I'll be honest, when she's speaking about people triggering, we actually trigger each other, which is very interesting.
Wow.
But these are real discussions that people don't have, and we wonder why sometimes when she speaks about, well, let's start from the beginning. She's talked about a few things. The complex PTSD, very real, very real. I'm glad that you were able to find a name for that, because it makes, when you said it to me, I'm like, oh, okay, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So that alone, when you're speaking about going to therapy as a person of color, yes, like I think there's a lot of talk about mental health. There's a lot of buzzwords around it. There's a lot of grants given out to talk about it. But I don't think people ever execute on real action towards it. They never do anything besides talk about it. It's okay to talk, but then when you're going through something, what are you doing with all you talked about? It's just words. There's no so there needs to be
action.
There has to be something that is done past the discussions of mental health. We need to have real discussions. So like I said, her and I actually trigger each other. She knows what we're talking about, right? But you know what? I think this was the perfect setting for her and I to reconnect, to speak on topics that her and I have in common when it comes to things like mental health and addictions, which we're going to go into a little bit later.
Yeah.
So it's great that you've done this.
Thank
Done
you.
this, and somehow the universe made it that it was her and I coming here to speak on topics we've spoken. I mean, you can go back in archives. We have archived discussions
On both topics.
all of these topics, and I mean repeated discussions where we were able to really share ourselves and be vulnerable, which is something that I've always praised LA on being, is extremely vulnerable, because people don't see the pain. They see the Instagram and the likes and they see all of that, but they don't see what's really happening. And for someone to bare their soul, as I have and as LA has, this is unique. You don't find this, because we know when we bare our souls, what comes with that? Judgment. People are going to judge you. They say that they're not going to judge you, but they are going to judge you.
Yeah.
And that alone adds to your mental health, because now you're like, okay, so I'm feeling all this and I'm being vulnerable and I'm still being attacked for being vulnerable. So it's a lot, it's a very complex issue, but one that I think, yes, the talk is happening, but the realness, the vulnerability, the action, that's where I really want things to start going, where we're making concrete efforts to be better, to do better, however better looks like for each and every one of us.
Okay, Simone, you've been talking about action for some time now. You've mentioned action like 5 times.
Yeah, but like action, yes.
Yeah, but what exactly is that action that you want to see, as I just
Find yourself a therapist or a social worker. People are like, oh, I can't afford it. Bullshit. We live in Canada, okay? There's some way. When I first restarted therapy, I went to my family doctor. They have people, yes, you know what, it may not be. The hardest thing is finding someone who looks like us.
I think a lot of that comes from the fact that there are different ways that we can interact with trauma, mental health issues. And there's a medicalized version, there's a societal version, and then there's your actual experience with it. And I think that if you have no money to go to therapy, you can close your eyes and learn how to breathe. You can pause, you can journal, you can, reflect on the outcomes that you're experiencing in your life and think, is this what I want as an outcome? Is why when I do this, do I get this response? And a lot of people, we live in this cancel culture, we live in this fast-paced culture that doesn't allow for the patience of one to know themselves. And so if you don't grab a hold of knowing yourself, then chances are you are going to experience the throes, the ebbs and flows of the society that's impacting you and triggering you to stay in a cycle of your trauma. The minute I remove myself from that, people will say, you seem more calm, you seem this, you seem that. And it's like, yes, because I took the time to isolate myself, to know myself better. And really, when you're looking for a therapist, you want somebody who doesn't try to throw pills at your situation, because that could be symptomatic for your trauma or your whatever you're going through. But You want somebody that understands the emotional side of what it is that you're actually dealing with.
True.
Like I might put on social media, oh, look, I wrote this book, I'm doing this movie, but they don't see that I'm in the fetal position in my home crying, right? And I could put that out.
There's so much going on behind the scene.
Right, and I could put that out there, but then it becomes like a sensationalization of my trauma. And I used to do that. I used to go on live and talk openly about every little aspect of what I was going through, mostly because I didn't have anyone around me to give me information that was meeting me where I was emotionally injured. And so I had to give it to myself. I stopped abandoning myself and learned to take care of the emotional wounds within myself in order to interact and share what it is that the process of healing looks like. And so putting that into my book, putting it into the characters in my movie, has allowed an outlet for the things that I've experienced, but it's still very lonely because people don't know how to interact with what you're going through. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's
That's
debilitating.
action. Do you see what that's action.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about when I say action. Not everyone can speak to themselves like that.
It's true.
A lot of people don't
So
know how
how
to
do
do
we now
that.
start to educate the public to, to start taking action?
Well, this is one way. Right, this is one great way, honestly, to again, have people who have done the work.
Yeah.
It's about doing the work.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's why I look for the best.
Yeah, you have to do the work. Like, I also feel sometimes that there's a lot of fluff when we're talking about mental health.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
Like, it's fluffy. And mental health, there's nothing fluffy about, like Ellie said, being laid out on your floor, like not knowing if you want to get up or if you want to die. There's nothing fluffy about that. Like, that's what I was talking about with buzzwords. Like, I think they've taken mental health and they've made it trendy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They've diluted it.
It's so trendy now.
Yeah, I hate, God forbid, I hate this bell talk to men, because everybody's doing their tweet or their catchphrase.
Yeah.
I support mental health, and it's like these are the same people that don't know how to talk to me, and they're supposed to be my friends. They don't know, and I don't blame anyone anymore because there isn't a dialogue that allows us to interact with it in a real way that can allow for change, the impetus to move our critical mass that allows us to experience real healing within our community. And when you ask Simone, what we can do, really, it's about asking ourselves, what can I do? Because I can't make Simone or
do
you
anything.
do anything,
true.
but I can control myself. And that has been the most freeing thing that I could give myself, not abandoning myself. I'm going to talk about that a lot today because a lot of the tensions happen when you abandon yourself. And so no longer giving power away from myself has left my control within me. And I can do what I need to do, but I can't expect Simone or yourself to do anything for me.
It's a personal thing. It's really a journey. When people speak about it, it's a personal journey. It's something that you have to take upon yourself. She's 100% correct. You can talk and talk and talk about it again, but if you're not hitting somebody, if they think they're okay, there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing.
Wow. So we're going to talk about not abandoning yourself, right? Yeah. But we can only do that when we come back from the break. Welcome back, guys. This is still your show, Getting Real with Phina. And I still have my gorgeous, gorgeous, most blessed girls in the studio. And we are still on the topic matter issue. Before we went on break, we were talking about self-abandonment. Mm-hmm. For mental issue, we have so many areas to touch.
Yes.
If we have the whole day, we won't even finish this topic. Trust me. But let's just start from the self-abandonment, then we can move to the next.
I read somewhere that the loss of self is the true essence of trauma.
Wow.
And so what I got from that, applied to my own experience with trauma, is that when you don't know who you are, you're more susceptible to being the victim of the trauma that has happened to you.
True.
You want to find ways to regain control of yourself, not of the situation, because not all of us have access to handle the situation in a way that can support our safety. Mm-hmm. But you can be safe within yourself. And so not abandoning yourself has a lot to do with getting to know who you are, knowing the things that trigger you, knowing the ways that you deal with the things that trigger you, holding yourself accountable, telling yourself the truth. And when you can tell yourself the truth and give yourself grace, you're able to start to transcend the things that have happened to you. And you can be an active participant in how you can feel safe and whole. Because that's what you were born whole and complete. But somehow through the traumas and the things that happen to us, we lose a sense of who we are. And then it's a journey towards finding it again. So finding yourself and understanding truthfully who you are and why you are has been the biggest thing for me in freeing myself from the stronghold of trauma.
Wow. Thank you so much, Simone.
So, again, I like following after LA speaks because she just like lays out my points for me, and all I gotta do is follow up. So, I think the biggest piece with the knowledge of self, and this is the part that I think when I first started my journey I had the most problems with, is really facing the fact that the things that are happening in your life, the things that are not going well for you, all these what ifs, shouldas, it starts with you. And it's not just presenting we always present this beautiful side of us, like we're talking about with social media and stuff, but no one wants to look at the ugly side. No one wants to look at the fact that every single thing that's happened in your life, everything, past the trauma, all the decisions that were made, that's you, right? Oh. That's the biggest piece. That's the part that's the hardest to accept, is that it's you, right? And for me, that's been my challenge with a lot of things. It's like, with all of this happening around me, who's the common denominator?
You.
I'm the only one who still exists in all my problems.
Wow.
Right? So that self-knowledge, that piece, I feel like, and I don't know if maybe you'll agree with me, LA, I think that's one of the pieces why people don't get to know themselves, because they don't want to face that.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Who wants to face that you're not perfect? Who wants to face that the reason why the things are happening in your life? Okay, I'm going to be very real, vulnerable moment. You know how many times I look at myself and why am I'm 44 years old, I've never been married, and I do not have any children. What are the reasons for that? It's not that I'm not attractive.
No, it's clearly
right?
beautiful.
It's not that I'm not intelligent.
Clearly intelligent.
It's not, it's not that I don't have a great personality. It's not any of it, but there's something that's caused a breakdown in the relationships that I have with not only men, but with women as well. That's a me situation. That's a personal issue.
So how do we solve this?
Oh, the reflection. Again, like there's the journaling. Like I love the idea of journaling. I love because I'm a writer. So for me, that comes like first. But it's the accepting. I think having really good people around you is another very important thing. You need people around you who are not always going to say yes, 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 or feed into your trauma.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of toxic relationships.
Yeah.
And to answer part of what you were just asking, Simone, I have found that the articulation of boundaries and maintaining and upholding your boundaries
There's another one. Boundaries.
is huge for your success in dealing with trauma.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those boundaries can only be established if you know what you're setting up boundaries against.
Yes.
And again, that's always the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's always the hardest part with that self-knowledge. I honestly would suggest, like even elders, I'm big on mentors. In the last few years, I've brought on mentors, women who are older than me, who have been there and done that, and who I see are on their healing journey. I don't just want no Bangdulu mentor, like, because there's some women who are older than us, and let's be real, older than all of us who still haven't gotten it together and are still out here making the same mistakes they've been making for the last 30, 40 years of their lives. So I don't want that as a mentor, but I do need someone who's going to hold me accountable, check me and say, you know what, Sim, you seem to be like, reach out. Maybe you should go back and talk to your therapist. Maybe, and not like that, obviously don't say it like that, but let me know that I need to start making some moves on my healing. Something's a little bit awry. But you need that. You need someone to say, hey, Phina, I'm noticing that you've completely withdrawn. Yeah. Where are you? Yeah. Let me come for you. What's going on with you? Right? Like we need those people. But again, in this society, people get so caught up in everything that they're dealing with themselves that it's hard. That's a difficult thing.
There's somebody named Professor Livingston. I can't remember his first name, but he talks about something called empathetic courage, and I think our society lacks that.
Empathetic courage.
Because to tell me about myself.
Yeah.
If I'm not in the awareness of where I am, that could go very wrong for you. Like I will become like, who
do you think you are?
To?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Don't project.
Yeah, right. And then we're justifying this tit and tat conversation that's completely based in trauma. That the person who's there to help you doesn't even realize that they're also exercising some issues in their own life. And that's what I mean by when I say melanated people need a therapist, is because colonization, being oppressed, especially the Black woman, we're not validated a lot. So a part of my complex PTSD is codependency. And so we're looking towards people to help you, but they're just like, they're pulling away like, this chick is crazy. I'm not trying to even talk to her. Right? So that's what the alienation, the isolation. So when I say alienation, isolation is, you might alienate me from having an experience with you two.
Yeah.
I can isolate myself.
Two different things.
Two different things.
Yes,
so people pulling back from you.
Isolation.
Has a certain pain. Me going and being by myself because I don't feel connected also has a particular kind of pain. But when you isolate and you have also been alienated, you can go through a lot of thoughts in your mind that confirm your demons. So it's like, I can't get along with anyone. And when I look out, the reaction is, I'm staying away from this person.
Yeah.
So it's confirming it for me. That's a dangerous place for someone to be in. That's when suicide comes into the picture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can we talk about suicide?
We must.
We must.
It's hard. It's empathetic courage. If we have empathetic courage here, we can support each other.
Yeah, that's a
because for someone to get to that point of saying, no, I can't take this anymore, I'm going to take my life. I don't know. I don't know the words. I don't know how to put it at this point. Can we just talk about that briefly?
Yeah.
Where do we go with this?
Well, I'm very open. So suicide and suicidal ideation has been a lot in my life, especially during the last, 7 years. I think now I'm in a better place, but it can still come up for me as a feeling. And what I'm feeling is I don't connect, I don't belong, people don't want me, they don't love me. I can convince myself of that because my experience in extending my vulnerability to people is usually to hurt me more.
Wait, Ellie, if I understand you, you said you don't connect, people do not love you. Is this what you think?
In an experience. So right now I feel very loved.
Okay.
I feel very connected.
Yeah.
I feel safe.
Yeah.
When I'm in an atmosphere or a relationship or a friendship where I don't feel safe or something keeps coming up that's disrupting my spirit, that's when different thoughts start to come to me. And really what somebody like me wants to stop is the pain. So it's not that I want to end my life. I want to end the pain.
Yeah.
And when I don't see a way out for that, I can convince myself that I'm not loved, that I'm not connected, that it won't matter if I'm gone. And those are some of the thoughts that will go through my mind. And when I don't have people around me, we're very much social creatures. So we may want to have people, and codependency, we may want somebody to take care of us. Because for me, I wasn't taken care of in the way that I needed as a child and as a young adult and as a teenager and as a young woman and when I was first married and then into my, it just keeps happening over and over again.
Cycle.
It compounds.
It's a cycle. And you can carry a lot of anger that can alienate you from your society, that you can convince yourself that you don't belong somewhere. And people say it's a selfish act to kill yourself. It's an act of human suffering, unaddressed. That's what suicide is. They're suffering and they don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah. And it comes sometimes they can come, for me, with my experience, it just came, it wasn't something where I was really thinking about it. It just happened for me. and I've told the story of, and this was a few years back, this is about 10, 11 years ago, which was my actual real experience, was I opened up the door on the Don Valley Parkway when a car was going 120 something kilometers an hour to jump out the car. That wasn't a thought, that was just pain.
Wow.
And I wanted that pain to stop. And this was the only way for it to stop.
And this is not a pain of like an immediate pain. This is a pain of like a long time, you know,
It's
trying
there.
to suppress it.
It's there, but it takes, sometimes for me, it was just, in that moment, the person who I was with, the person I was dating at the time, I just come out of a very traumatic situation. And instead of that person being supportive to me, that person told me that he was going to abandon me and not be with me because of that situation. So that left me, I'd already felt like I'd lost everything. So now I feel like I've lost everything. And my support system is now saying, I don't want nothing to do with you because you've lost everything. That was just an instant reaction. Thank God, he was cognizant during that drive to grab me. But what if he hadn't? I wouldn't even be sitting here today. I don't think jumping out of a car at 120 kilometers an hour on the Don Valley Parkway is going to end in a good way, period. So like, this idea of suicide is sometimes it just takes one little thing to just be like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Trigger.
A trigger. I'm not doing this anymore. And it happens and it's quick. And sometimes you're not even, for me, I was even thinking about how this was going to impact people around me. I just wanted my pain to end. That's it. I just want it done.
And this is one big issue about mental issue. When people go through mental issues, do they really think about, you know, how people around them, their loved ones are going to... Sorry, my voice is going down because I'm so... Inside of me, I'm so emotional right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so can we talk about triggers? You know, how we can avoid triggers?
You can't avoid triggers. That's impossible. It's like trying to avoid death. It's not happening.
You can be careful.
Yeah, you can tread carefully.
That's also treatment.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had to remove myself from my social circles. That was strategic. It wasn't about them. It has nothing to do with anyone except for me. I needed to get a hold of who I was, and I hated it. I hated being alone. I hated not having friends to reach out to. We talk to our friends and we brood and wade in our problems, and it's actually making it worse.
Yeah.
You know, although you have a degree in psychology, not a lot of your friends have degrees in psychology.
Yeah.
Not a lot of your friends are in the awareness of what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
You could be my friend and you're now just learning things about complex PTSD. And maybe if we continue to be friends after knowing this, you would approach me differently knowing that I'm struggling. So if people know my heart, they can know that LA's a good person. If LA's not acting the way she normally acts, she's probably being triggered now knowing what's happened to her. So you need friends like that around you. And I haven't been able to I'm starting to piece that together. I've had to walk away from people that I really love and care for, that I want to see succeed, but I also want those things for myself. And until I knew who I was, it wouldn't be healthy for me to interact with people until I got a hold of that. But be careful. You don't want to leave yourself too isolated as well.
I was also going to say that too.
There has to be some balance.
Because
definitely
being isolated too is dangerous, you know.
Yeah, because now I'm developing a social anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere.
Yes.
Because I don't trust who I'm talking to. It's like, especially when men want to engage me, I'm always like, I need a man. And like men come to me and then I'm like, stay away from me, stay away from me.
Wow.
Yeah. Right? Well, I try to lead my life by example.
Yeah.
I try to be articulate with what I need in my interactions. And that's gotten better over time. So if you start to recognize things within your life, where you are in your journey of healing and where I am is different. So when we speak to one another, I might want you to be in a place where I am, but you've just started. And that's what I mean by empathy. We have to be able to support people where they are.
Yeah.
Right? Not sympathy, because
Empathy.
that's disconnected from the person. I need to understand who you are and accept you for who you are, to support you. Not take care of you, but support you and create a boundary that says, I know for myself who I am, so I can give you A, B, and C. But when you start asking for D, E, F, and whatever, I have to say, I love you, but this is what I can do for you. And, you know, I'll support you when you're trying to get D, E, F, G, but I can't be the one to do it for you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's hard. When you're the person experiencing that you want those things, you may not understand that I'm actually helping you.
True.
And then that's another trigger, because if you're like me, complex PTSD, you feel abandoned. So my support of you may not feel like support to you. And so it is a very intersected thing to support someone with mental health issues. You have to want to. You ever see those people who can adopt an abused animal or a neglected animal? That's a special kind of person to love that animal back into feeling safe.
Yeah, it's
right?
very difficult.
Because that dog or whoever it is, whatever it is, might snap at you when you're giving love. And they understand, the person that's helping that dog may understand that they're doing that because they've been triggered. So even though they're biting the person will take the bite and then make the person know that the dog know that it's safe.
Wow.
The dog will loosen its grip, and then you have a great exchange. But if you respond to the bite as in, what the hell, and then throw the dog somewhere, it's going to maintain the cycle. That's how we treat each other in our community. We do not approach it like, you've been oppressed just like me. You've been colonized just like me. When we talk about Africa versus the diaspora, we've both had different versions of colonialism, different experience, but we're both triggering each other because it might look like one way to me and something completely different to Nigerians, Ghanaians, Kenyans, whoever you are, and whatever your environment definitely impacts how you interact with yourself and how your ability to overcome trauma.
And another point I want to raise is denial. A lot of us Africans always, like I think it's the same thing I said before, we are always in denial. So because of how the society, make us feel. So how do we bring ourselves out of this denial?
Okay, I want to hit on something really quickly on how when we were speaking about how do we actually get that help we need. So I want to go back to social media and really be clear when I say social media is a tool. And any tool can be used in a positive way or in a negative way. Okay? I think now there are a lot of really good, for example, on Instagram, there's a lot of really good channels that do speak positivity into people and do help with things like mental health notes. These things are out there. We decide on our Instagram who we follow. That's a decision. So if you have a whole heap of nonsense on your Instagram, you can use Instagram, Facebook, whatever, as a tool of healing, because there's some really great stuff on there, but you've got to find it. So I know for some, because we're in this technological, advanced, growing, evolving world, we've got to use the tools that are given to us in the right way, right? So that's just for someone who may just be starting off. Find whether it's a spiritual channel, a mental health channel, a speaker you've heard say something that you were really attuned to, follow them, listen to them. A lot of people like to grab their phone, which I don't recommend. First thing in the morning, grabbing your phone is like the worst thing you could possibly do. But for those who do it, wouldn't it be better to open up something that's going to start your day in a way, or give you something where you can use what was said to you throughout your day if you're triggered by something? Instead, we want to flip on, and it's foolishness. And we wonder why our days are so bad and why we can't move past certain things. So I just wanted to throw that in there before we start talking about denial. For people who are just starting out, find people who speak to you, who may speak to your trauma in some way, shape, or form, who when you hear them, it makes sense. Start there, right? It's a very simple thing to do. Unfollow foolishness and follow something that has some constructivism, like really and truly, stop it, right? We have that control. Denial. And we were speaking about this when we were speaking about knowledge of self. That piece right there, I'm telling you, if you don't get it, many of us walk around in denial of what's going on inside of us.
True.
We pretend it's not happening. Again, the world's falling apart around us, and we're wondering why is this happening? Wrong question. What is happening to me? Start there. What is happening? The whys is just, you get defensive. We don't want to do why. what is happening, right? Accepting and understanding that something is actually, you're having an emotional reaction. Yeah, it's happening to you. Men, which we'll get to in a second, have a harder time doing this, I think, than a lot of women do, unfortunately, because society tells them you're not supposed to feel.
Exactly. You're not supposed to cry.
You're not supposed to feel. Men, big boys don't cry. They start that from young.
Yeah.
Right? Men don't have to feel anything. But no, they feel just as much, if not, I think sometimes more than we do. And
Men are very emotional. They just don't emote.
They don't emote.
It's different.
Yes, we emote.
I've been trying to not to involve the men because we don't have a man.
Yes, you don't want to
guest.
mansplain.
We're not going to mansplain.
Yeah.
don't want to
We're
do
not.
any
But these are
mansplaining.
basics. All of us are born with emotions, whether you're a man or woman. That's just human. We'll human-splain.
True.
Okay? Like, we all have emotions. All of us. None of us is exempt from feeling, going through trauma. No one in this room, no one in this audience is exempt from that.
True.
Right? So just that alone, accepting the fact that you've been through some stuff,
Yeah.
that's tough. I'm telling you, it's the hardest part with
And
the
knowing
healing.
how to deal with
hardest
it.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think about denial, I think about being unconscious to your desire to feel connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this keeping up with the Joneses. You want to be accepted. You want to feel connected to your community. And if your community doesn't, they don't reward that type of behavior, then you fall in line. And when I say reward that behavior, I'm talking about the acceptance into a small, like if Simone's with a group of girlfriends that care about how they look and I don't have the money to do that, I might feel like I don't connect there, I don't belong there.
Yeah.
And then my whole existence is about trying to get the right clothes and so that I can fit in, opposed to just knowing that who I am is enough.
Exactly.
And that they can choose to have me as their friend or not. But that takes so much courage to do that.
Yeah.
It takes so much strength to stand in your own understanding and be that. So you talk about the culture of Nigeria, but you are a Nigerian woman who has this awareness. For you to have a conversation about this is already speaking to your culture, right? So you're ahead of the game, and you might inspire someone else in your culture
To do the
to
same.
also speak. Because I do hear a lot more Nigerian women speaking in ways that are not what I typically known for them to be a part of. You hear it. So it just needs to feel safe so that you can feel like, I can
It's
step
okay to
out
do
a
that.
I
little
think we're
bit.
gradually waking up now.
Yeah,
As long
it
as it's
changes.
happening.
It takes 9 months
Yeah.
to make a baby. It's like if you're rebirthing yourself, it's going to take some time.
True.
Absolutely.
True.
Right?
Wow, if we, like I said from the beginning, even we are given the whole day, we won't be able to finish this topic. But time is against us right now. But I just want to have your last words, your advice there, so we can move on to the next episode.
You know what? Take the time. Number one, give yourself some grace. It's one thing I've learned to do is not be so hard on myself.
Wow.
It's hard.
Is that easy to do?
No. None of it's easy to do. But you have to. It's one of those things where you've got to practice it until it becomes perfect.
Okay.
So I've learned to practice, even when I do something and I slip, or I do something and it's not something that I don't want to use the word should, but it's not something that's moving me forward to my goal, my personal journey's goals. I give myself grace. I'm like, okay, Sim, all right, you messed up. Go back, go to sleep, reset, start again.
Yeah.
That's giving yourself grace. Just not being so hard on yourself and beating yourself down and saying, because that's what leads you, and that's where that spiral happens.
Yeah.
Right? So when I give myself grace, it's like, okay, today was not a great day. All right, I'm going to journal, because now that's something that I do, or I'm going to speak on it, or I'm going to talk to a friend, or I'm going to read something in a book, or I'm going to listen to a video, whatever I need to do that reset.
You do it.
Go on my bed, get up, done, start again.
Yeah.
So give yourself grace through your journey. It's going to be challenging.
Wow, thank you so much. Anele, your last words?
Yes, I said it before. The most important thing I've learned to this point is about not abandoning myself.
Yeah.
And you know that you're abandoning yourself when that tension comes up, because my default is to be quite calm and peaceful. If I'm feeling a disruption, it could be from that person, but it doesn't matter. It's also coming from me.
Yeah.
So what can I do to make myself feel safe and secure within me so that I can interact or choose not to interact, put up that boundary? And establishing a routine also helps me not abandon myself, because if I know what I need on a day-to-day basis and I implement that into a routine, I'm more likely to have more success.
True.
So that's been the biggest thing for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to the audience, mental health might be a very difficult issue or an emotional topic or issue to talk about. The truth is, everybody's going through mental health. Like you said, we all have feelings. Somehow, I don't know, things just happen but learn to love yourself. In everything we've spoken today, what I've picked out is love, love, love. You have to learn to love yourself. Talk to people. If you know you have a mental health issue, please see a therapist. See your doctor. This is where we end today's show. Getting Real with Phina. We will see you on the next episode. Keep watching Getting Real with Phina.